Morning. We are starting with lecture number 16. This is the second last topic in module 2. Topic is electrical drives, brushless DC motor, or it is called as BLDC motor. The topics we are going to see under this is basic principle and control of BLDC drive. You will be finding this topic in the book of Ehsani, page number 184 onwards. First, we will see a small video, and in that video, we will try to understand what is the very specific feature and of BLDC motor and how exactly the BLDC motor runs. Please check the video.
In order to make the operation more reliable, more efficient, and less noisy, the recent trend has been to use brushless DC motors. They are also lighter compared to brushed motors with the same power output. The brushes in conventional DC motors wear out over the time and may cause sparking. Thus, the brushed DC motor should never be used for operations that demand long life and reliability. Let's see how a brushless DC motor works. The rotor of a BLDC motor is a permanent magnet.
Biggest difference of brushless DC motor here, we are using permanent magnet brushless DC motor. So it is called PM BLDC. And in the backside, in black, what you are finding is this is the rotor which rotates. So here the stator is inside and rotor is outside. There is a very big difference. So write down one question. I will be asking you what is the basic difference between DC motor and brushless DC motor. So in DC motor, what we are finding is the magnet is static. The magnet is produced by a field, so it is called field magnet. So that is static, that is generally at the outside. And the rotor, that is armature conductor, that is there kept at the center position of the stator. So stator is nothing but the magnet, and rotor or armature conductor is at the center. So in case of simple DC motor, the field is static and the armature conductor with current, it rotates. And how can we supply the armature with electricity? That we do by brush commutator arrangement. But in this case, they have totally changed it. First thing, in BLDC motor, permanent magnet type, they are using permanent magnet. So there is no current going for the field coil. So we are saving a lot of current which is given to produce the electromagnet. And we are not using field coil. So it is here PM magnet is used. You can see in the back side, this is the black north and south. It is permanent magnet which is kept on the rotating kind of a thing. So this black thing at the back, it rotates, and this is holding the field. So here it is a rotating kind of field and static kind of armature. So armature in this case is static, field is rotating. So these are the very big features of PM BLDC motor, and see this video repeatedly. So this is a 4 to 5 minutes video. After this lecture, I'll be uploading this video. So see this video time to time. The link is given 2-3 times. If you see, you will understand the whole working of BLDC motor. Very widely used motor in case of vehicular application. And another video I will post there. What they're saying is the BLDC motor is mainly imported from China, and they are of many different capacity and many different prices. So it can be used for very small application to very big application, power application like vehicle and all. So a very important kind of new kind of technology motor. Please go through. And permanent magnets, they are produced by very important or research product which is called as earth metal. Okay, so that is another field of study. Rare earth metal, they are producing the fields or that sorry, not field, the permanent magnet. So that is another way of study. So there are a lot of things where you can dig into in this. So please go through. So this video I will again restart from the beginning, and I will finish this video once and for all. So please check. So here the field is rotating and the armature coil or current carrying coil is static, because we are not using any kind of brush or commutator arrangement. So static field is given to, static current is given to the armature conductor, and the magnetic field with the rotor is rotating. So very unique kind of design it is. Please check.
The operation more reliable, more efficient, and less noisy, The recent trend has been to use brushless DC motors. They are also lighter compared to brushed motors with the same power output. The brushes in conventional DC motors wear out over the time and may cause sparking. Thus, the brushed DC motor should never be used for operations that demand long life and reliability. Let's see how a brushless DC motor works. The rotor of a BLDC motor is a permanent magnet. The stator has a coil arrangement as shown. By applying DC power to the coil will energize and become an electromagnet. The operation of a BLDC is based on the simple force interaction between the permanent magnet and the electromagnet. In this condition, when the coil A is energized, the opposite poles of the rotor and stator are attracted to each other. As the rotor nears coil A, coil B is energized. As the rotor nears coil B, coil C is energized. After that, coil A is energized with the opposite polarity. This process is repeated and the rotor continues to rotate. A humorous analogy to help remember it is to think of the BLDC operation like the story of the donkey and the carrot, where the donkey tries hard to reach the carrot, but the carrot keeps moving out of reach. Even though this motor works, it has one drawback. You can notice that at any instant, only one coil is energized. The two dead coils greatly reduce the power output of the motor. Here is the trick to overcome this problem. When the rotor is in this position, along with the first coil, which pulls the rotor, you can energize the coil behind it in such a way that it will push the rotor. For this instant, a same polarity current is passed through the second coil. The combined effect produces more torque and power output from the motor. The combined force also makes sure that a BLDC has a beautiful constant torque nature. With this configuration, two coils need to be energized separately, but by making a small modification to the stator coil, we can simplify this process. Just connect one free end of the coils together. When the power is applied between coils A and B, let's note the current flow through the coils. It's just like the separately energized state. That's how a BLDC works. But you might have some intriguing doubts in your mind. How do I know which stator coils to energize? How do I know when to energize it so that I will get a continuous rotation from the rotor? In a BLDC, we use an electronic controller for this purpose. A sensor determines the position of the rotor, and based on this information, the controller decides which coils to energize. Most often, a Hall effect sensor is used for this purpose. The BLDC design we have discussed so far is known as the outrunner type. In-runner BLDC design is also available in the market. We hope you had a nice introduction on the working of BLDC motors. Thank you.
So what I suggest you to do is, it is given in the top left corner. So it is not very difficult. Only whatever is given, you have to draw a small diagram and you have to explain it. So what is being done is, the permanent magnet is kept on the rotor, and the coil, whatever is being energized continuously from the external current source, it's a static coil. So we are seeing here that there are three coil pairs. Actually, this opposite coils are actually pair. So permanent magnet, whenever the north pole is there, we are energizing these coils in such a way that this is also is becoming an opposite pole. So if here the north pole is there, then we are energizing this pole in such a way that this permanent magnet will be attracted here. And in the next instant, whenever this permanent magnet is here, again the next coil is energized in the same way, so that this coil is attracting this permanent magnet continuously. So that's why they have given the analogy of carrot. That is, there is a donkey, and in front of him, the carrot is tied. So donkey is moving forward, but carrot is also moving forward. So this moving forward direction is given by continuously energizing the coil, and the permanent magnet keeps on driving itself towards that coil. So initially energized coil. Okay, now the problem is whenever one coil is energized, the other two coils are not doing anything. Okay, so there is a push-pull kind of action. So so in the next instant, the modification is the other two coils. So one pair of coil is again energized in the opposite direction. So one coil is actually pulling, the other two which are not used, those two coils are pushing, and all are actually generating the same net effect of the rotation of the rotor. So what I suggest here, it is written in the top left corner, that is, look at this video, and I will be asking you one question, that is, how does the BLDC motor rotate? So you have to, very small, in a schematic kind of a diagram, you have to show this three pairs of coil, and you have to show the rotor behind it, and with a permanent magnet pair, that is north and south pole, and you have to explain how does a BLDC motor work by means of this video. So just write down from this video, how does the BLDC motor work? So it may be a half a page document, so please prepare it and keep with you. So that is a job I'm leaving up to you. I'm not writing it. It is easy to understand, or if you can remember it, and if you can draw and explain, there is nothing better than that. So this is how the BLDC, very simple BLDC motor work. Now there are two kinds of control. One is torque control, another is speed control. So for all the motors, we are doing these two things. That is, what is the construction of the motor, what is the working principle of that motor. That is the first thing. Second, we are doing is how to control the motor. So whenever we are trying to control the motor, generally we are trying to control the speed of the motor, first thing, and secondly we are trying to control the torque of the motor. So for this BLDC also, there will be a torque control circuitry, kind of a block schematic only, it will be there, and there will be a speed control of this thing. But one very important thing is, as they have said toward the end, that we should know which coil to energize. So that is the biggest problem in case of a BLDC motor, because if you want the motor to rotate anti-clockwise direction, then your field, whatever you are energizing, that also should rotate in an anti-clockwise direction, and the speed with which we rotate that electric field which is applied to the motor, that will be the speed of the motor. So very fast we are rotating that electric field in anti-clockwise direction from one coil to another, and that will be the fastness of the speed with which the motor will be rotating. So this is a very important thing, we have to remember this. Now, how to know that which coil to energize at one time? Because if suppose one coil wants to come and rotate in the leftward direction, in that case we have to keep on energizing the leftward coil, but by mistake we energize the rightward coil. Wherever the permanent magnet is, instead of energizing the left coil, we energize the right coil. So in that case the motor will start rotating the rightward direction. Again, after that you energize the leftward coil, so motor will be confused. So in that case, it's a very important here to know exactly in which position which coil is, exactly at which position the permanent magnet pole pair is now at present, and depending on that we have to start energizing the coil. So when it is energized once, I think in that, after that we can circularly keep on triggering the motor or energizing the motor. But that initial knowledge, that exactly where the PM is, that is north south pole, and exactly which coil is to be energized so that we can find the rotation of the motor, that initial knowledge is very important. And after that also, continuously there is a sensor which called as rotor position sensor. That rotor position sensor is an addition in BLDC motor, that exactly from which coil we have to start triggering the coil. So that is one added thing, that is a sophistication that this motor demands. And now there has come in the market the BLDC motor without the rotor position sensor also. But we will not go into that. We will only stick to the BLDC motor with rotor position sensor, and we will see next how to control the torque and speed of BLDC motor with rotor position sensor. So your job in this case, look at this video and draw a small schematic diagram and write down in your own language that how the BLDC motor work. So you have to convert this voice message in this into speech. That is your job. I'm leaving up to you.
In order to make
This is actually the controlling of PM BLDC motor. So whatever a question I'll ask, that is how does a PM BLDC motor work? Just now I asked you to write it down from that book, and there that diagram of stator rotor you can draw, and with that this is a complete diagram of torque and speed control, or actually running of BLDC drive. So we will see two more block diagram where we will find torque control separately, speed control separately, but here this is what is the running setup of a BLDC motor. So what all things we are finding here, let us have a look. So this is that motor arrangement, and all the three coils, that is stator static coil, whichever is receiving the supply. So you can see there in the towards the middle of the slide, this is the DC power supply. And DC power supply is simple DC power supply which is coming from battery, and this is given to, so in the last lecture we have seen that 6 semiconductor devices wala inverter, okay, in 3-phase induction motor speed control, we have seen that. In and 3-6, they were the arms which were generating AC, that is pulsed AC from DC. So those kind of inverter topology is used here as well. So it is taking DC and it is generating a 3-phase AC, and those ACs are fed to the coil. So here in the image also they have shown 3 pairs of coils. Okay, so this is one pair, that is coil 2, it is positive, and it is towards the negative, it is completing the circuit. So this is H1, H2, H3. These are the coils. So it is saying that BLDC drive consists of the motor, DSP based controller. That is very important. So what DSP based controller is doing, I will tell you shortly. So here from the DC power supply, this is that 6 semiconductor based inverter. So inverter converts DC into AC. So that AC is given to the 3 phases. So one is the entering point, another is the exit point. One is the entering point, another is exit point. So coils are named as H1, H2, H3. And then this is the rotor. So rotor is actually rotating, and rotor is having the north-south pole on it. And that north-south pole is made by a rare earth metal magnet, and that rotor itself is consisting the permanent magnet north-south pole. So you can find that no electricity is given here to produce the field or field magnet. So that is the biggest advantage of this BLDC motor, that we won't have to create the field magnet, because permanent magnet we are using, north south pole automatically is there, and that thing is rotating. So it's a very unique feature. In case of DC series motor, we found field is static, armature is rotating. Armature is what in case of DC motor was receiving the current from the external circuit through the brush commutator arrangement. In this case, the armature is static but the field is rotating. So there are 6 wires you can find. This is coil 2, H3, coil 3, H1, coil 1, and H2. So these are the 6 coils. One is entry point, another is exit point. So they are coming actually to the DSP controller. And what DSP controller is exactly doing? So this DSP controller is receiving 2 inputs. So in torque and speed control detailed diagram we will find. So this DSP controller is receiving 2 inputs. One is what is the position of the rotor. Okay, so there is a rotor position sensor inside this stator rotor assembly inside the motor. From there, one input is coming to the DSP controller. So DSP controller is coming to know exactly which position the rotor is now at present. And DSP controller gets some current input value from these 3 inputs which are going to the stator input of the motor. So 2 inputs DSP controller is getting. One is what is the position of the rotor, and second is how much current and what value of current is being input to the rotor. So with these 2 inputs and with the current position of the motor and all those things, And also there will come a directive, or there will come a set point from the driver. So actually this motor is driving the engine, this motor is producing all the power and everything. This motor is connected to all the wheels and all these things through the drive. So whenever the driver is pressing the pedal, at the time that input, so torque requirement from the driver, so that is a set point input. You all have done the DSP processor kind of a thing. So you have all have done the car control. So we know that the car is given the instruction through the pedal. So we are pressing the pedal and we are asking for a torque. So more torque. We want the vehicle to run with a higher speed. That means we are asking for more torque. So that is the instruction input, or that is the command input, or that is a set point. So that set point is coming to the DSP motor. Okay, that is the external input. And the internally the motor has to change its operation accordingly. So as per the demand, the motor has to supply. So to supply the motor, first the DSP controller is to know where is the position of the rotor. That means where the permanent magnet pole pair is situated, and how much current is being input to the motor at present by the inverter topology. So if the torque asked is too much, in that case the DSP controller will adjust this input current to the stator, and the DSP controller will tell this input controller that okay, more power is asked by the driver. So in that case this current from the inverter will increase, and that will be entered to this rotor of the motor. So the whole process we will see later on, because there are two block diagrams, torque control and speed control. Very shortly we will see that. So let us go through what it says. BLDC drive consists the motor, DSP based controller, and power converter. So power converter is taking the DC, converting it to AC, and giving to the three phases of the motor. So position sensor H1, H2, H3. So these are the three position sensors which are connected, and check that they are actually going to the DSP controller. So you can find here H1, H2, H3. They are telling what is the position of the motor with respect to its position. So these position sensors are fixed. They are connected on each of the coil. But what is the relative position of the PM, that is positive negative of the permanent magnet, north south of the permanent magnet, that information continuously is being fed from this coils, that is the sensing coils, to the DSP controller, so that DSP controller can decide what is the triggering mechanism. And depending on that, DSP controller will also control the topology of inverter, and DSP controller will ask for more or less current from the inverter. So H1, H2, H3 are the position sensors. They sense the rotor position, and depending on that, this rotor position information is fed to the DSP based controller. So DSP supplies getting signal to the power converter. So this is the signal coming from DSP to the power controller that input more current or decrease the current. All those things are given by to this topology, and brain is the DSP controller. So which is fed to the DSP controller. DSP supplies getting signal to the power converter by tuning on and off the proper stator pole windings and the machine. So if you have understood the video in the previous slide, you will get some clearer view of that from this discussion. So let us see what is meant by torque control. Okay, so the same thing I will be repeating. So here now this is a more better kind of a diagram what we are finding here. So only this much diagram we are doing, it is okay. So in vehicle traction application, traction means running of the vehicle, the torque produced is required to follow the torque desired by the driver. So here the driver is driving and he is pressing the accelerator and all, and he is demanding for more torque. So this torque is being converted to current IS star. Okay, so there is a torque to speed converter, and this is the set point. So whenever we are doing some control system, there is a set point, and control system is trying to meet that demand from that set point. So here this is the demand posed to the motor, that I am asking for more torque. Now please supply me. Who is going to supply? So here is the BLDC motor. This motor is going to supply to the load, and from this load to the command torque input, so there is a feedback from this load to the actual controller or something. So this is that DSP controller, whatever we are talking about. And DSP controller is controlling what? DSP controller is giving instruction to the three-phase inverter. because DSP controller is telling the inverter you increase your current supply to the BLDC motor. So there is, I think you have heard of CT and PT, current transformer and potential transformer. So this is actually that CT thing. Okay, so ये लिख के रखो, you will not remember current transformer. So you can check here, the sensor is not touching the lines or the power lines. Okay, so there are tong kind of thing, this kind of tong kind of thing. So wire is pressed, a wire is passed to that center of that tong, and the tong actually finds out or senses how much is the current. So it doesn't touch the wire through which the current is flowing. So CTPT you can find out in internet, that is current transformer and potential transformer. They are actually sensors in case of high voltage. So high voltage, high current are sensed without touching. So that is actually that kind of current transducer or current sensors, or CT is connected here. So CT is picking up how much is the current uh, I which is being fed from the three-phase inverter to the BLDC motor, and that current value at each phase, so there are three phases, is being fed to the DSP controller. Okay, so this much current is being supplied to the motor now. Second thing, BLDC motor, there are position sensors. So there are three position sensors. In the previous slide you have seen H1, H2, H3. All those things are coming as the input of the PM, that is the north south pole of the permanent magnet, to the DSP controller. So DSP controller is having 5 inputs, 3 phase current inputs. One is the feed, so this is feedback 1 I'm talking about. So while you are writing the speed control in the exam, you have to write about 3 things. So there are 3 types of inputs coming at the input of the DSP controller. First is the set point, that how much torque is being expected from the expected by the driver. So that is a set point, that I want this much torque. Then second is position sensor. Position sensor is telling what is the position of permanent magnet north south pole with respect to coil 1, coil 2, coil 3. And third is how much is the stator coil current which is being supplied to each of the stator coil by the inverter. So this is the DC supply which is coming from the battery. This is coming to a 3-phase inverter. Now depending on all these 5 inputs, that is current input, position of the position of the coil with respect to permanent magnet, and the third thing is what is the current demand. So these are the 5 inputs. Now this DSP controller is a smart controller which mixes all these 5 inputs, and it decides what is the next controlling strategy. So if you are finding position is somewhat is favorable and these 3 currents are less and torque is asked more, so DSP control is like a brain. So nowadays this DSP controller may be kept inside this whatever ECU is there. In that ECU, this DSP controller is kept. Okay, CAN protocol and all these things you can check for vehicles, and they decide that how much is what is going to be the next step. How am I supposed to give more power to the BLDC motor? So accordingly, the gating signal. Gating signal means opening or closing. So gate is there in dam, you can check gate is there. So opening or closing of that gate in the dam, water outer flow through the dam is decided. So this gating signal is also like that. It tells the inverter you have to increase the supply of current to the BLDC motor, because now more torque is demanded. Okay, so likewise this DSP controller decides all these things, gives the gating controller to the power required by this driver accordingly to the BLDC motor stator, and this BLDC motor is actually driving the load. So this is the whole process that you have to explain in detail, and theories are given. So torque control scheme for a BLDC motor drive is shown here. The desired current IS star is derived from the command torque through a torque controller. So that is the first part. That is, I'm the driver. I'm asking for more torque. Torque is converted to current because this is a processor which cannot understand torque. Okay, so there has to be a torque sensor, and torque sensor should convert the demanded torque into current. Now current is sensed by this microcontroller, which is a DSP controller. Second part, the current controller and the communication sequencer. So this is called as current controller and communication sequencer, which is nothing but a DSP processor. So it receives desired current from the input, from the torque, position information from the position sensor, that is this one, and the third is the current feedback. So there are 2 feedback and 1 set point, and then this DSP controller mixes all these 3 signals and it produces the gating signal, and gating signal are sent to the 3-phase inverter power converter to produce the desired phase current to the BLDC machine, and BLDC machine gives the more power as demanded to the load. So this is what is called as torque control. Second is speed control. You can find speed control also we are finding. So first is speed is sensed, so that speed is converted to torque, torque is converted to current. The same kind of approach, there is nothing different. Only thing is with respect to the inputs, so there are actually three feedback in this case. So previous case there are two feedbacks, because torque is something which is demanded by the driver. So driver is sensing that, okay, I want more torque now because I want to go faster. So in that case, the driver senses it and presses the accelerator, and torque is demanded. But in this case, whenever speed has to be increased, so it's automatic kind of a system. In that case, there is a speed sensor. So everything is same. The speed sensor is only the different thing here. So WR is the rotational speed at any present angular velocity. So first WR is converted to speed controller, it is to torque, torque to current. So speed is also demanded in form of current only. So the remaining things are same. So this is that feedback 1, this is that feedback 2. Now here there is a feedback 3, which is nothing but a speed sensor. So traction application like cruise control means we are not driving, my hand is off from the steering. Okay, so speed control may be required. So there's an automatic kind of a control. Okay, so it's a cruise control. Many high performance applications include current feedback for torque control. At a minimum, a DC bus current feedback is required to protect the drive and the machine from overcurrents. Okay, the controller, the speed controller may be of any type, classical controller such as PI controller. So this is something which you don't know, but proportional integral controller is something which is used for speed control. Okay, so or a more advanced controller such as artificial intelligence control. So this DSP, whatever we are finding here. Okay, so here if you want very classical kind of control, we can use PI control, or very sophisticated control, you can apply MI, you can apply AI and all those things. So this is the heart, or this is the brain, you can say, of the whole system. It is actually mixing all the different signals from different sensors, and it is deciding how much power has to be extracted from the inverter, and accordingly the inverter acts and supplies to the BLDC motor. So these are the two block diagrams which might be asked for your exam. So here also the same thing is said, that current controller and communication sequencer, which is in the brain, provide the properly sequenced gating signal to the three-phase inverter here, while comparing sensed currents to a reference to maintain a constant peak current control by the hysteresis current chopping, or with a voltage source PWM type control. So how to control this BLDC? It can be either a chopper kind of thing, or it can be a PWM kind of thing. So what exactly happens in case of PWM, we have seen in the last lecture. So whatever AC waveforms are given, they are compared with a triangular waveform. And whenever the sinusoidal amplitude is more, there we are finding more pulse width. That means more energy is given to that phase. Whenever the amplitude of sinusoidal input is less, at the time we are generating less pulse width. That means energy given to that stator coil. So there are three stator coils. Particular that stator coil is getting less energy. So likewise, three stator coils are giving three different types of energy, which are functions of sinusoidal input. Okay, so in this case, either we can use current chopping, or we can use PWM type to control this BLDC motors. That means this three-phase inverter, it can be controlled, its output performance can be controlled by PWM or chopper. So using position information, which is given by this, so feedback 2 it was, using position information, the communication sequencer causes the inverter to electronically commutate and you can just find out all this theory, whatever small theory is given, but main understanding is that all the inputs or feedback or command input all are taken, that is given to the DSP processor, and just say that DSP processor takes decision accordingly, and after that this three-phase inverter is actuated, and three-phase inverter produces output voltage accordingly, or getting signal accordingly, it comes from the DSP processor. So these are the functioning of three functioning we have explained so far. First is how BLDC work. Second is what is the torque control, excuse me, and third thing is what is the speed control. So speed control and torque control, only one difference is, in case of speed control, we have to add another sensor which is called as a speed sensor. So in torque control, the driver himself understands how much torque is required. So he gives the press to the accelerator, and accelerator there is a converter. It converts the torque into current, and current is input to the DSP processor at the set point. But in case of auto pilot mode, or in case of cruise control, a BLDC motor, there is a speed sensor. Speed sensor actually is given feedback. How much is the speed of the motor at present is fed back to the input. Speed is converted to torque, again torque is converted to current, and again the same process happens. So these two things are almost same, only with a difference of speed sensor in case of speed control. Now two more slides we'll be doing where we are going to explain what is the advantage and what is the disadvantage of BLDC drives. So we have 10 minutes in our hand. Let us see advantage and disadvantage in detail. This also can be asked for 5 marks. So using high energy permanent magnet. So PM stands for permanent magnet as a field excitation mechanism. So this is creating that magnetic field which is required for motor rotation. Now I told you what is the motor principle, left hand rule of Fleming's. So there should be a magnetomotive force MMF, there should be a EMF, and they will interact with each other and they will produce what is called as mechanical action. So in this case, permanent magnet is used to create that MMF magnetic field, and we are continuously giving the three-phase supply. Okay, so in this case, the PM motor drive can potentially designed with high power density, high speed, and high operation efficiency. So these are the main positive points of BLDC motor. What is that? It is high speed, high power density, and high operation efficiency. These prominent advantages are quite attractive for their application in EVs, that is electric vehicles, and HEVs. Of the family of PM motor, the BLDC motor drive is the most promising candidate for EV and HEV application. So there are many permanent magnet motors, but from that BLDC PM, that is the most promising motor for EV or HEV. The advantages are all electrical motors due to the PM for excitation. So we are not wasting any energy for electromagnet in the field coil. So there is already permanent magnet connected to it. So that's why it is increasing the efficiency. And due to the PM for excitation, it is very efficient. PMs consume no power. Very important thing, because to generate the magnetic field, we are not wasting any power. So PM are consuming no power. Absence of commutator and brush. So what is the brush and commutator used for? They were actually carrying the electricity to the armature. So in this case, it's not required, because in this case armature is not rotating. In this case the field is rotating, so brush commutator is not required. So if you are removing brush commutator, power loss is less, wear and tear is less, chances of connection break is less. So this is not a conduction type motor. Okay, this is a conduction type motor, but not exactly like DC motor, because in this case the field is rotating. So the absence of commutator and rotor and brushes means low mechanical friction, and as low mechanical friction is there, it means more or higher efficiency. Compactness, so using high energy density rare earth magnet. So just check, Alnico is one of the thing which is used. So you can find out what is Alnico. Together they have produced some material which may be used for this PM. Okay, so in book of Ehsani you can find out detailed discussion of that permanent magnet is also given there. So using high energy density rare earth magnet gives very high flux densities. So as phi is more, speed of the motor will be more, efficiency of the motor will be more. So it gives out high torque and makes motor small and light. Use of control, so it is very easy to control because the control variables are easily accessible. So what is the main control variable? Main control variable is current flowing through the stator, that's all. So if we can control the current flowing through the stator with respect to the position of rotor, or with respect to the position of north south pole of PM, that is, these are the very two things, very easily available controlling parameter. Okay, in lot of processes the control parameter is not available at the outside. You have done state space, so not all the states are observable. In this case all the states are observable, so all the controlling parameters are very easily available at the at our disposal, so we can control the motor in a very proper method. Ease of cooling, so very important point. Okay, we have not talked anything about cooling. Absence of rotor circulating current keep the rotor cooler. Heat is produced only at the stator, which is easier to cool because it is static. So in case of DC motor, the heat is produced in the armature, but armature was rotating. So it is easier to cool a stator which is static in case of this motor than to cool armature which is rotating in case of a DC motor. So very important line, heat is produced only at the stator, which is easier to cool as it is static. So it is easier to cool a static thing. So there are different types of cooling: air cooling, fluid cooling, oil cooling, different types of cooling, which is used in case of transformer also, in case of motors also. Okay, so as in this case, the stator is static. Stator is just accepting three-phase currents, that's all. It is easier to cool the stator. Low maintenance, great longevity and reliability. So absence of brushes and commutator. So everything is related to absence of brush and commutator. So absence of brush and commutator reduces the need of regular maintenance and reduces probability of failure. Longevity of the motor depends only on the winding insulation, bearings and magnet life length. So magnet is high life, it is designed that way. Okay, and low noise emission. So as communication is in electronics and not mechanical, because in this case communication is happening only from the DSP to the stator controller to the inverter, that's all. That is the only communication. And electrical communication is happening from the supply to the coil. So all the communications are electrical in mode, conductive type, so there is no mechanical communication. So in case of DC series motor, there is mechanical communication, because we are connecting the brush and commutator to the rotating armature. So there is a mechanical communication method. That's why there is wear and tear, that's why there is a lot of friction and all. But in this case, all the communication are only power communication through electronics or electrical. Hence, the driving converter switching frequency is high enough so that the harmonics are not audible. So all the communications are electronic. Hence, there is a very less amount of noise in this case. So last slide, what are the disadvantages? So cost is very important thing, because that rare earth magnet are very costly. Okay, it listens very good, it works very fine, but they're very costly. So cost of this BLDC motor increases. So I will post a video, you will find it starts from 2200 rupees and it goes up to lakhs of rupees. BLDC motor can be. Limited constant power range. This is a main concern of BLDC motor. So this motor is not capable of achieving maximum speed higher than twice the base speed. So whatever is the starting speed we are starting, that is called as base speed, and then we apply different kind of speed controlling technology. So whatever is the base speed, it can have maximum speed twice than that. So if base speed is 100, it can maximum go up to 200. Okay, so that range of speed, huge range of speed, is not achievable by this motor. Okay, that is a limitation. Safety is a concern. So there is danger in case of vehicle wreck. The PM is energized, it keeps on rotating, so that might create some damage to the driver during accident. So there's a safety concern, please go through it. Magnet demagnetization. So a very important question, or very simple question: what happens if the permanent magnet gets de-energized? Because it is not going to have magnetism ever, forever. Okay, and there are a lot of demagnetizing effects which is happening inside the motor. What is saying, permanent magnets might get demagnetized due to the large opposing magnetomotive forces and high temperatures. So high opposing magnetomotive force and temperature are the negative things which might reduce the performance of this motor. So great care must be taken in cooling the motor, especially if it is compact in nature. So why cooling? Because by cooling we can save the magnetism property of the motor. So too much heat reduces the magnetism property of the motor, phi reduces, that is the flux density, and torque and speed of the motor falls continuously. So with BLDC, demagnetizing the PM might get permanently destroyed. So demagnetization, if happens to the magnet, motor will have to be thrown out, because the main thing in the motor is the permanent magnet. High speed capability, PM BLDC of surface mounted type cannot reach high speed because of the limited mechanical strength of the assembly between the rotor yoke and the permanent magnet. And last thing what they're saying is, if the inverter fails, so inverter is the main thing through which the stator currents are controlled. So if inverter fails, then the motor might get blocked. And here the very important things are written. If one or more wheels get blocked, the ill effect is considerable. If the rear wheels get blocked, wheel of the front are spinning. So back wheel got locked. So because of inverter failure, the back wheel got locked. but front wheel is still spinning. What happens if the rear wheel gets blocked while the front wheel are still spinning? The vehicle will spin uncontrollably. That means it will cause very big accident. Samely, if rear wheels get blocked while the front wheel are spinning, vehicle will spin uncontrollably. Second thing, what they're saying is if the front wheels are blocked, so all the possibilities are there. One wheel might get blocked, two rear wheels might get blocked, two front wheels might get blocked. If the front wheels get blocked, the driver will have no directional control over the vehicle. If only one wheel is blocked, it will induce a yaw torque that will tend to spin the vehicle, which will be difficult to control. So these are the ill effects if the inverter fails. So previously, all the ill effects are talking about mainly the permanent magnet failure, demagnetization. Safety is one concern, limited power range. But this last thing is talking about inverter, because inverter is the integral part of this motor. And if inverter fails, then what happens if if inverter fails and rear wheels are jammed, front wheels are spinning, difficult to control the vehicle. Okay, front wheels are blocked. In that case also, driver is not able to control the vehicle. One wheel is blocked, the torque, yaw torque will be produced and it will spin the vehicle uncontrollably. So all these things are disadvantage of permanent magnet BLDC drives. So main question in this case are five. First is how the motor rotates. It is from the video. Second thing, what is the torque control? Third thing, what is the speed control? Fourth thing, what is the advantage? And fifth thing, what is the disadvantage? So all these questions you prepare. I will upload this PPT. I'll upload this video shortly. So tomorrow we will do SRM motor and we'll finish this module number 2. That's all from my side. Thank you.